Fellas, Sudan has banned Emiratis' investment in the country. Yes, they say goodbye. Don't bring it here. We don't need it. We don't want it. You can keep it. You can shove it up your yeah, don't bring it. Sudan has reacted in a way that has never been done before. They've told the UAE to keep whatever money they have in their own house. Don't bring it here. You're going to find out about this. And then we're going to Morocco. Morocco and Spain are bringing two continents together for the very first time. What are they doing? They're building an underground tunnel. So a tunnel going from Morocco all the way to Spain to allow trains to go in and out. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful, but how many people are going to die? We're going to find out about it. I know, I say die. Yeah. What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for stopping by. I have no idea why today feels like a Monday. Like a refreshed Monday. A refreshed Monday where you slept. You actually used the weekends to rest. I don't know why I feel rested today, but I feel rested today. Thank you very much for stopping by. You are appreciated. My name is Zack. Your first time. This is home, fellas. You want to know about the motherlands? You're at the right place. Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, Rwanda, Congo. What's the other country again? I'm just kidding. You're at the right place. Please click on the button, subscribe. We like you here. We want you to stay. We want to see you every single day. Let's go. Okay, we're here. Sudan. We're talking about Sudan. Sudan has banned Emiratis' investment and economic activities in the country. They say bye-bye. Basically, Sudan has banned investment, financial, commercial activity from the United Arab Emirates in Sudan. Notably the gold sector and many other things. Don't bring your investment. We're done. And you're probably asking why. So we're going to find out why. Well, the decision is made after Abu Dhabi announced on Sunday that it would suspend exports of Sudan's gold. So Abu Dhabi, as you can see on the map, said we don't want Sudan's gold anymore. Okay? Don't bring it here. You're probably asking yourself now, how come? Clearly, we're going to find out. Why? Because Sudan does have a lot of gold. They export most of their gold to the UAE. Sudan produces a significant amount of gold and much of it is exported officially and unofficially through trade channels to the UAE. The UAE acts as a key intermediary refining and exporting Sudanese gold to global markets. That's what I'm always saying to you people. You've got to have diversification. You can't just be trading with one person. You need to change. You need to have a difference. You need to have other friends. You can't just have one friend. So Sudan has a lot of gold, and most of the gold from Sudan goes to the UAE, and the UAE refines Sudan's gold. This is the second problem, refinery. Why don't you have refinery in your countries? African people export goods that are still raw, like crude oil. Why? Africans need to build their own refinery system, before they sell to the market, because when you build a refinery, you're creating jobs, opportunities. You're creating a place where people can learn, trade. You're creating an economic sector, basically, because when you're going to bring people in your refinery, then all the businesses are making money from the people eating. But Africa don't have that. So doesn't Sudan. Sudan's export its gold to the UAE, and UAE refines, sell to the markets in the world and give Sudan a chunk of the money. Now, the UAE say we ain't doing that. So how do the UAE expect this move to hurt Sudan? Well, very clearly, because Sudan gets a lot of money in foreign currency from the gold. Number two, it creates jobs and employment and opportunities for Sudanese in Sudan. Now that we can't sell for you and refine for you anymore, well, you suffer. That's a little bit what it means. Now, you probably want to find out, what happened. Okay, we have a situation here where Sudan says we don't want any business from the UAE anymore. Don't come here. At the end of the week, something else happened. What happened? Abu Dhabi progressively suspended air, land, and maritime transport to Sudan. So they said, we don't want anything from you anymore. So you can see the roller coaster. You probably want to understand the context. This one is banning, that one is banning. And make it very quickly. If you want to understand the situation, please go watch our video. The context is very simple. Sudan accused UAE of sending mercenaries to come fight in the land. Yes, they said the UAE is sending mercenaries. About 1,000 people have left Colombia to come and fight in Sudan. Well, in Sudan, there's two groups of people that are fighting each other. There is the army, which is recognized officially, and there's the RSF. Now, the RSF is a special unit that was founded by this man right here. It's called Omar al-Bashir. Now, this man used to be the president of Sudan, but he had two forces behind him. Force number one was the official army. Force number two was the RSF, which was basically his private army. He used the Prophet's army for what? Well, he used them to go and oppress people, beat up dissidents, make sure people shut up if they want them to shut up. Those are this RSF. Now, the RSF had funding, they had money, they have gold, they run areas that there's a lot of gold, so they're very self-independent and also don't depend on the government. Now, a couple of years ago, people were very angry in Sudan, okay? Why? Because there was no bread, no food, things were expensive. They were angry at the president. Now, the RSF and the army, two groups that used to understand each other and work together back in the past, they initially trying to protect the president. Then later on, they were like, you know what? This is a great opportunity. How about we just kick him out? He's been here for too long anyway. Let's kick him out and take power. They did that. They took out the president, this man, Omar al-Bashir, and they created a temporary government. The goal for them was, you know what? Let's do this for a while. Then we're going to do an election. Then we're going to merge our forces. Basically, the RSF, which is a special force, private force from the president, and the actual force from the government. Now, the RSF was guided by this man. You've seen him a few times on the TV. His name, Mohammed Ahmed Gadalo. People call him Hemet. And the army was run by this man whose name is General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. So these two people that used to function and work together back in the past don't get along anymore because they're fighting over power. The usual thing for Africans. They fight over power. Africans always fight each other for power. If you want to separate Africans, you put power between them. So they were fighting because this one want to be the leader, that one want to be the leader. Now the RSF feel like they want them to be part of the government army. And by becoming part of the government army, this chief of RSF feels like he loses power, he loses his influence, he loses autonomy because then he has to report to somebody and everything is controlled on top. And he didn't want to lose that. That's the thing with power. Once you taste power, it becomes very difficult. Now, the two groups are fighting each other. They've been unaliving one another really, really bad. Now, the regular army, which is led by this General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, accuses the UAE of siding up with the RSF, giving them weapons, going to the next country. You can see on the map, Chad, using Chad as an hub through NGO, saying sometimes we're just offering things from NGOs, but using NGOs as a tool to send weapons and introduce mercenary from Colombia. So as you can see, they started accusing each other. Sudan said, we are banning you from our country. They banned Sudan's aeroplane from landing. So it's been crazy up and down. If you want to know a bit more about Sudan, go check our video. You'll be very happy. So what's investment from the Emirati as Sudan ban? Now, the Emirati were planning to build a port by the sea. They were going to invest in port of Abu Amama. The investment was about $6 billion. Why do they invest in a port? Because Abu Dhabi usually gets food from Sudan. Yes, they've invested in agriculture in Sudan. So they invest in a port for influence. Number two, they invest in a port so the food that comes from Sudan can go to them. Abu Dhabi was supposed to build the road to Abu Amama port. The purpose was simple. The road was planned to connect agricultural production areas in Sudan and the newly proposed Abu Amama port. So Sudan has been nourishing Abu Dhabi. Okay, now Abu Dhabi was going to build the port and build the road to where the food was coming from. Okay, now we're moving to Morocco. Yeah, Morocco. Here's Morocco. Very interesting place. Great culture. Very, very nice. Interesting. Very interesting. You need to go visit Morocco. Now, Morocco and Spain have decided to build underground tunnel linking the two continents for the very first time. Congratulations. It's just good news. Yes, sounds like good news. Now, the underwater tunnel connecting Morocco to Spain received a final approval after 4 decades of political deadlocks and a surmountable geopolitical obstacle. So it's been fought a lot because they feel like it's a good opportunity for these sub-Saharan Africans to come across to Europe. You see the difference? You see, here's Morocco, here's Spain. I mean, it's very, very short. I would say about 46 kilometers to just link the two continents. However, many people feel like if they link the two continents, why isn't there a bridge here, like between Morocco and Spain? Because they fear that black people will run away from Africa and go to this place. I mean, if they're not fearing the desert, if they don't fear crossing the Mediterranean Sea in small boats, would they fear crossing by road? Now, this is not going to be the very first time because, I mean, underground tunnels exist. One of the most prominent is the English Channel, the one that comes from France to Britain. You see this one? Yeah. I think I've used it myself before. It's scary. At first, you go underground, just imagining the ocean around you. But yeah, this took 6 years to accomplish. It's about 50 kilometers separating the two places. Took 6 years to accomplish. It was a lot of work. They had about 10 people die. 8 British and 2 French people die from accidents, equipment falling on them, and weird stuff like that. So we hope that in Morocco it's not going to happen that way. Well, at least some of those people that died got insurance, so the family could profit from it. Can Morocco provide insurance for the people? I mean, I hope so. Now, the good thing about this tunnel is going to create a lot of jobs. They're expecting to have about 40,000 jobs created, between Morocco and Spain. Now, are they going to hire Africans? Certainly, but Moroccans, definitely. Black people, well, depend on what qualifications you have. So that's a good question for you to be qualified. That's what it is, fellas. It's happening in the continent. Sudan is stood very strong, but the UAE is also pushing back. They're not going to buy Sudan gold. Now, Sudan, happy for them. Sudan is now looking for different partnership with Russia, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia. And I think it's a beautiful thing. Once more, you can't depend on one specific country on your trade and everything. I mean, South Africa depends so much on the United States of America. It's their second trade partner. And it's not their fault. I mean, you have to trade with somebody who's got the capacity. But now they can use that against you. That's what it is. That's what Donald Trump is. That's the card Trump is playing right now. If you don't do things the way we want, well, we're going to hit you with some sort of something. If you don't scratch out BEE is a Black Economic Empowerment. It's one of those measures that South Africa took to reverse racism. During racism and apartheid, white people had all the privilege, opportunities and money, position as business, leaders. But Black people did not get that. BEE is now something they created to sort of balance, to give Black people opportunities to, even though they haven't said it officially, but we know BEE is one of those things the government in America doesn't necessarily want from South Africa. They don't want that because they say it's racist. But is that racist, trying to fix things that were done in the past? Question mark. Let me know how you feel about this. It was a great pleasure. God bless.